Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's video I'd like to look at a very good manual setup that unfolded yesterday on the 3-minute ES. That's a one I like personally myself because it has to do with a high volume spike, and this is what professionals it actually shows how professionals are entering the market, which gives you a very good indication of a likely strong move coming up. So let me show you what I mean. First of all, let's have a look at the 3-minute chart. And as you can see at the outset, there seems to be no automatic MTPredictor setups, which is fine because we're looking at an advanced manual setup. For the more experienced users, we normally go to our 15-minute chart, which I'll do here, and even before the day opened, we then set our decision point or larger degrees of decision point support and resistance areas. In particular, just after the market opened here, you can see it started to decline. As it declined down, we'd have gone back to the prior pivot, which was here, and we'd have placed a DP on from this level. This would have given us a 15-minute support level where we anticipated larger degree support coming in. As you can see, the market came down, didn't quite reach it, went back up again, came down, and that's where the final low of the day was made. Remember, these are on the chart in advance, so this area would be anticipating this support zone before the market even got there. Okay, let's see what this looks like on a 3-minute chart. Let's go back to the 3-minute chart. So there we go, there's our 15-minute support coming in. Remember, that was on the chart before the market got down there, so you're prepared for this level in advance. So why was this so interesting? Well, first and foremost, let's look at our VSA setup in isolation and then show you how this is even more important because it came in at the larger degree support. So I'll just take that back out of the way. What I'm looking at is a bar, in particular this one here, that makes a wide range bar. In other words, it's a big movement and also has unusually high volume, and this is what our VSA indicator down here on our volume is actually looking for. So it gives you red colorations when you get a bar that unfolds that meets these criteria. As you can see, they unfold in quite a lot of different places. So how do we know which ones are important? Well, we know which ones are important because we are looking for a bar that goes beyond a psychologically important level where most amateur traders will be looking to trade off. The obvious one here would have been this prior low, because this would have been the low of the day beforehand. So if we just put I want to put a low tag on this to show you what I mean. So in other words, this was the previous low, 77.50. The market came down, it made a wide range bar down through this. Now most amateur traders would look at this and say, oh, wide range bar, high volume, breaking new lows, therefore this is going to be selling, and otherwise they'd look to go short. Now what we have an advantage here of two ways. First of all, we have our decision point tool that gives us areas of support or resistance in advance. So if you're working just on the 3-minute chart, you'd have gone back to this pivot here and placed the DP on that level from that level there. And as you can see, again, this would be on the chart before the market even got there. But you see what happened at this particular area is that this wide range bar came down into this, it hit this support level, then reversed. In other words, the very next bar, which is this blue buy bar here, it reversed. In other words, it failed to follow through. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the volume on the prior bar was not actually selling volume, it was actually buying volume by professionals. In other words, the professionals were stepping in and buying this market in anticipation of making a strong move in the opposite direction. In other words, it's a fake out by the professionals, which just catches the amateurs in the wrong direction. It's amazing how many amateurs will be selling here and as such caught short as the market rallied. And as you can see, the market did indeed rally quite strongly. So how do we trade this? Well, first and foremost, we look for, as I've already outlined, this bar here to make a wide range bar beyond an important psychological level. That's the important point. It's not any old bar, it's one that breaks an important psychological level. It then goes into our DP support or resistance and then reverses. So we look for the bar afterwards, the bar after the high volume bar, which is this one, to make a coloured reversal bar. In other words, to actually show that the market is no longer going in the original direction. That's all well and good, but we have some other advantages here at MTPredictor. Well, the first advantage is we know that this is the area we're anticipating the support in advance. So as the market's going down into here, we know this is the area where support is likely to come in. But to place a trade around this, we don't just need any old setup like this. We need to have it that has a good risk-reward potential. So for this, we go back to the last pivot, in other words, the last swing going down to this low. We go back to this pivot high here. Again, right mouse click, place the decision point on the chart. And again, remember, this would have been on the chart in advance before the market even got there. So even when the market was back at this level, so perhaps if I just turn training mode on and I go back to that particular bar there, you can see there you go, that's how it would look like at the time. You would have known that that was the area of your target. So if off this you can then place a potential trade where you would be long off the high above the blue buy bar, your stop would be one tick below the low, and then your target would be at this particular level here. Now why is this important? Well, it's important because you actually know if the market got to this level what your profit would be, but not just in pure dollars, but in risk units. In other words, how many times greater than the amount you're willing to risk if this trade goes wrong would your profit be. So here it would have been approximately 4.3 times greater. We use correct position sizing to keep this initial risk small and constant. So in other words, not only can you identify the VSA setup here with the MTPredictor software, but you can also anticipate a target and also use position sizing based around that target to anticipate how good that trade would be if it unfolded as anticipated. And as we know, I've just closed training mode. That's exactly what the market did. It rallied up to that high absolutely beautifully, where you'd have taken a nice 4.3 profit. So as you can see, that was a very good trade setup, and one that is very easy to anticipate with MTPredictor because you have these levels on your chart in advance. In other words, you know the areas where you're likely to find support and resistance. If I want to go back right to the start of the video, and remember I had this 15-minute support zone on the chart as well, and look where this low came in as well, right at our 15-minute support zone as well. In other words, our 15-minute support zone and our 3-minute support zone off that prior pivot both coincided at this area. So this gave you added confirmation or added confidence, so to speak, that this was an area that was likely to produce a reversal. But the most important thing is this area, this 15-minute area, had been on your chart virtually all day. In other words, you were anticipating this area for being a support zone hours, literally hours and hours before the market even got there. This is the key to good successful trading, is being prepared in advance for these areas. So when the market made a wide range bar, made a VSA bar on our volume indicator, then failed to follow through and gave us a blue buy bar at 14.39, you had confidence that this was an area where the market was likely to reverse, not only for 3-minute DP support but also higher time frame, larger degree 15-minute support, but also the VSA was telling you that the market was likely to rally and rally strongly. We then had the area of where our target was anticipated to be, and that's what set the trade up. So this is all the important different sort of parts to come into a good trade setup like this. And as you can see, we have the tools in the MTPredictor software to make this all very easy for you to do. So this is a particular favorite trade of mine because it is based around what the professionals are doing, and you can see that by how the volume acts at these particular levels. So that's why we call it a VSA setup, or volume spike analysis setup, because that's what the volume is doing, spiking around these. So to be able to get in on a trade that the professionals are moving, that gives you extra confidence that the move is not only going to be strong, but it also has a high reliability as well. So even though yesterday had no automatic setups on the ES chart, this particular setup here was a very, very good one, and one that we teach and is available to be found with the with the tools of the MTPredictor software program. So hopefully that's been a good example of one of the more advanced setups that we use in the MTPredictor software program.